Hi guys, it's Nina from VR Focus. I'm joined by...
Pete Nguyen from Make Real. I'm the senior designer here.
So there is a new sort of drawing room that's opening up where you guys are going to be developing and designing new immersive experiences.
Yeah, what we call the drawing board at the moment is soon to start, just sort of preparing at the moment, but with recent investment into the business, it means we're able to take a bit of time and spend a bit of money to do our own products, our own sort of R&D, and develop our own internal intellectual property.
Have you been working with Make Real from the very beginning, or you kind of joined on afterwards?
No, so I joined in 2016. Yeah, that's right. So my background's in games. I've been making designing video games for about 12 years now.
What type of video games were that?
Console games generally, Power Star Golf, things like that. I then joined Make Real when they were just starting out to shape what Loco Dojo is, and I joined the team and sort of took the creative lead and design direction on that and saw it through to the end. So a product I'm very proud of, one of the best games I've ever worked on.
So that was your first virtual reality game?
Not well, technically yes, but I had dabbled with R&D and bits of VR at other companies I worked at before.
What are you most excited about when it comes to this, like the ability to really experiment and play around with new technologies?
With the drawing board, yeah, absolutely. It's exactly that. I've been since the early days of the DK1 Kickstarter. I immediately was up for VR, and everything related to it at the moment is just. I'm always kind of forward thinking on that stuff, and always hoping for the next best thing to come out and new ways to experience games and other things really. I'm not very technical. I certainly can't code. But I like to pretend I know what I'm talking about. So.
It's good to know that you're heading this.
Yeah, I'm good at letting other people do the technical bit for me. Yeah.
Do you have a vision, or do you have a certain hardware technologies that you're looking at specifically to begin with and further develop?
I mean, we've got a really, really long list of stuff we want to look at from R&D. So looking at, in the first instance, tech that we know is coming down the line, that we know isn't far away, things like eye tracking, stuff that's kind of buzzword stuff at the moment, AI, machine learning and things, and how we can actually find meaningful, useful ways to use those in products for consumers, but also for our clients, and however that helps their training and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know, what this would look like. Can you kind of run it through me for like how you see this production working? Are you going to be playing around and then potentially bringing it into your current products, or how does that work?
Well, we're trying to work that out at the moment as well, to be quite honest with you. How we're going to start is we've come up with a long list of stuff we want to look at, and like I said, that could be R&D stuff with new tech. It could be just some fun game prototypes to see if we can really hit the nail on the head with something that people want to play, and it could be actual learning from the commercial products that we've done to sort of productize some learning that can not just be for one client, but multiple clients might want to benefit from. So they're the sort of three main branches that we're sort of going to attack, and out of the long list of ideas, we sort of categorize those out and kind of put them through a process of selection. So various criteria questions sort of all help us come up with an order in which we want to tackle those things in the sort of most logical way, really, and what's the most benefit for the studio and the most revenue and all those other kinds of things. It's not all about the money. It's about motivation and internal desire as well. Just what do we want to work on? The way we see it working really is that it's really going to be a small team. It's basically going to be myself as in the design capacity and sort of team lead, and then with an experienced coder and an artist to just throw things together in the first instance, demonstrate as prototypes and see where we go from there. My ambition for the drawing board going forward is that it will be cranking out prototypes quite quickly, learning and failing quite often, and then the good stuff that falls out of that will hopefully be picked up by another internal team to develop further once we've sort of established there's a market for that, this is going to be worth doing, etc. In the short term, that other internal team doesn't necessarily exist at the moment, so if we hit on a great idea, the prototype's successful, and we want to take it forward, that may well be the drawing board that carries on with that, while the main production team carries on with client work and work for hire and things like that. But the goal ultimately is that there will be an internal team that then picks up the successes and runs with them.
I was wondering what it looks like from all of your other video games is that it comes quite organically. You know, you listen a lot to what users and say, and you kind of take that feedback into account. Where do you go to figure out, you know, what people want? Is it a bit of a combination of what the internal team wants and what audience want out there, or how does that balance work? Yeah,
it depends on the product that you're making. Obviously, if it's a game, the VR community is pretty active. We don't even really have to. A lot of the time, you don't have to really engage and ask questions. People have already asked a lot of the questions that are relevant, and you can find the answers. Sometimes, again, a lot of it's from experience. A lot of people say, making VR games is a whole new kettle of fish, and it's not really. Like, some of the things you implement are absolutely navigation, things like that. There are new challenges to solve. I'm sure it's been covered many times, but ultimately you still got to find something that's fun to play, regardless of whether you're in VR or on a mobile or whatever. So all of the experience and knowledge that collectively we've all accrued through a career in games, most of us, as a gut feeling, I know when something's fun or not, generally. So we can just go with that. And Loco Dojo was exactly that. We were super lucky, luckier than I've ever known to be in the games industry, to have such creative freedom to just get on and make what we wanted to make. So a lot of that game was gut feel. And then once you get to a certain point where you're happy for people to start playing it and trying it, you organically get their feedback, right? And everybody has an opinion when they take that off, well, most people anyway. And then you pick and choose which bits of feedback you, again, gut feeling sort of agree with. There will be lots of feedback that you're just like, that's not going to be a very common.
Well, I guess it's growing your confidence. It's grown your confidence in a sense. You know roughly what feels right, what feels wrong, and that's all based on experience now. Really.
That is all based on experience, yeah. And it's really satisfying when you make those decisions on gut feeling to have them validated by the community. When you put your game out there and people respond positively to it. We were watching a YouTube video by 4 independent YouTubers all playing Loco Dojo together recently. And just watching the amount of fun they were having, that's worth it. That's what I do it for.
Where do we go to find out more information and see what you guys do?
Well, you can always get in touch with us at makegrill.co.uk. If you want to find out about Loco Dojo itself, there's locodojogame.com, I believe, and that's really about it.
Will you be showcasing some prototypes at some events sometime soon, or
we're quite often at events, various learning and training events. If you see me, feel free to grab me and talk to me.